making the thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city, yeah, this for my team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's how to be nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm champion.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this delusional Wednesday here on YSN Live. DJ Yoakley and the one, the only Anthony Hartwig. We call him Twiggy with you here on this Wednesday. And there's a lot of rumbling going on online about people doing things and wanting to do things that they've never done or they've done before and they're bringing back and all this stuff. My goodness, what has happened in the last 8 hours?
You know, the definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that are trying to do the exact same thing with the exact same work ethic, and going to get the exact same results.
I don't know how to spell it, but I know how it sounds, and it sounds an awful lot like this. like that. Sorry about it. Crazy. I mean, you wake up, hey, everybody does it. You don't pick up paper anymore. You pick up Facebook.
Yep.
Oh, that's what I did this morning. Oh, okay. Best of luck.
Best of luck. More power to you.
Best of luck.
Prove people wrong.
Hey, go get. Stop with the salutes, man. Stop with the salutes.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I hope the road rises. See, I was doing so good. Then you got me caught. I hope the road rises to meet you. But I don't know if we do that. I don't know. Like, again, there's a lot of tongue in cheek here, inside jokes. So let's start this Wednesday off. It was, let's just face it, it was a tough night at the old barn last night. My goodness, could not buy a break for teams here in this area. East Liverpool coming up on the short end of the stick. Boardman, I had that game. They came up on the short end of the stick. That was devastating.
The biggest surprise, Ursuline gets shocked by Hawken coming into Youngstown and getting not just a close win. Hawken dominated that game, won by more than 15 points. So that was a big shock because Ursuline went to state last year. They had all their horses still in a row, and that's tournament time. You know, any given night, someone can sneak up on you.
Rough. I was going to wait for that one, but hey, let's talk about it. I mean, that happens. You know, there was a lot of people that were saying, hey, this is the team. We said it. This is the team that's going to go the furthest. We feel it. They're young. They have experience, though. A lot of in-game experience. These kids are basketball kids. And Hawken comes in out of the CVC, and a lot of teams sitting there and they snicker at that conference up north. And Hawken came in and they took care of business. If you're Ursuline, I mean, if you're Coach Gunther, you know, when do you start to kind of revamp, rebuild, reload? And like, how long do you give yourself? How long do you give your players, your program, to kind of let that wound heal a little bit?
This is going to sting. And everyone's a little bit different on how long they take to kind of get back in that mode. I'm sure Jalen Gunther, I mean, we've had him, we've interviewed him. He's a kid that's probably like in the gym the next day. He's probably taking up shots right now, working hard to get back. He's going to be a junior. A lot of that team's coming back. They lose two seniors that were like legitimate varsity playing time players, and Deshaun Will and Klusenik. So they lose those two, but they're bringing back Noah Bell. They're bringing back Jalen Gunther. They're bringing back a lot of their, the other
Chase Ricardo.
Yeah, the name kind of escaped me there, but they're bringing back a lot of their firepower. So it's going to be kind of a reset year, hopefully for Ursuline. I think, I wasn't there, so I can't really, knowledgeably say what happened to them, but I would fair to bet that there was a little bit of youth on display a little bit. Usually that Ursuline team is pretty good on defense, and seeing them allow 80 plus not something that Coach Gunther is going to be too happy about.
As for mine, I mean, but we'll skim over East Liverpool real fast, just because I haven't had a chance to look at their game film. Pardon me, quite yet. But they lose a tough one. I mean, they had 2 Spirit buses travel down to St. Clairsville. They had, I mean, East Liverpool people will follow that team wherever it goes. It's a traveling trophy, essentially. You're following that team. And then just we seen all year long there was 2 sides of East Liverpool. There was a really good East Liverpool and a really mediocre East Liverpool, and you can't have it that far away from each other. You know what I mean? You've got to at least have some consistency, and from game in to game out, you didn't have that. You didn't know which team was going to show up on the floor. And that has to be frustrating for the players, has to be frustrating for Cade Reynolds, had to be frustrating for the community, because your team, you look at that's a championship caliber team across the board. Kind of the same as we were just talking about with Ursuline.
Yep.
And then, man, you just, the consistency is not there. And I get it. The ball's not always going to go in the hoop. But, I know this is a transition year from Nate Conley to Cade Reynolds. That's not going to be an excuse. It was just the consistency of the play throughout the year. And I don't think anybody would sit there and poke holes in that theory. Consistency wasn't there for East Liverpool. So that was
I feel like it wasn't a game like a consistency level in the sense of sometimes they just didn't play well, sometimes they didn't. They had one way of winning this year. They could win when their offense was really flowing and they were running the floor. When team, like kind of South Range a little bit, when teams slow them down, they get into a little bit of trouble. And props to their opponent last night. They slowed them down a little bit, and they got into that kind of half-court game, and East Liverpool doesn't thrive in that situation.
No, and then we lost McDonald as well.
McDonald went on the road, couldn't overcome Kirtland, but some good news. West Branch went on the road, pulled off the upset of West Geauga, so they're moving on, which means we have an all-YSN district championship between Canfield and West Branch, so congratulations to both those teams. Camel goes on the road, gets the win over Columbiana in dominant fashion. LeBray gets the win over Springfield. So we still have teams that are cooking and getting to the district championship, and we have more chances tonight on the boys' side as well. So it's not all doom and gloom at YSN, but we definitely lost some of our teams that we thought had a really good chance.
You ever see those in memoriams, like after The Walking Dead? Everybody that dies in The Walking Dead gets
you launch the cannons for the Hunger Games.
Yeah, like we need to start coming up with something like that. Not to make fun of the teams that lose, but to kind of, I mean, it is kind of honoring them, and like, hey, just FYI, we appreciate everything that you've done this year. And I'm a firm believer, no matter what, that every season happens for a reason. And, it's one of those things that you can either go from it or grow from it. So it's up to you. The teams that are no longer in the tournament, whether it's frustrating right now, you've got 2 choices. You can go away from it, or you can kind of lean into it a little bit. I think Ursuline, personally, and I'm calling the shot now, I'm thinking Ursuline's going to have one of the best years in program history next year. I think they're going – I hate to say this because I hate when people say, well, they needed that. Nobody needs a loss to recognize where they are.
Yeah.
But I think these premature losses, not taking anything away from Hawken, premature losses have a way of allowing water to find its level in the next year or two, because there's an extra motivation. Listen, they talk about in hockey all the time. When you make these long runs in you lose a little bit of legs, you gain experience, but you lose rest, you lose time when it comes to next season. So I think that, if Keith Gunther, and he's the last person that needs advice from me, if Keith Gunther, utilizes this as, hey, we're going to take some time off, let our bodies heal, and then we're going to full throttle into the AAU, into, what we're trying to do as a program, whether it's together or separated, we're going to, have the arrow pointing up no matter what we're doing. These are the things you need to work on. This is what we need to get better at as a unit. And we can do that separately. And then when we come together as a team, we'll be there and ready to go. So I really think that loss last night serves as kind of the springboard for what Ursuline is going to be and what they're going to be known for a long time to come. And
Yeah,
that's
and
a good way.
yeah, and the thing is, like I said, they're returning a lot. So it's not like it was the team that had 7 seniors and really has to find a way to reload. They're returning a lot of their pieces next year. So they'll be in the chamber ready to go. It's just, can they use this as kind of a motivational factor and be like, hey, you guys, this isn't going to happen to us again. Like, if we get beat in the tournament next year, it's not going to be because someone snuck up on us and we didn't give them their full, respect they deserve. And maybe that happened last night. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. It feels like one of those games where they didn't really expect Hawken to come in and punch them in the mouth a little bit. And they did, and they could never really recover from that.
Third game, I want to really lightly skim over the game that I had last night. Avon and Boardman. Close game throughout the entire contest. 3 quarters, close. Referees kind of swallowed the whistles through 3.5 quarters. And then all of a sudden, at the end, it was whistle, whistle, whistle. Like, you weren't going to let them play. There was ticky-tack fouls. I'm not blaming the officials. I'm not blaming the referees.
Usually
I don't want it to –
way around.
Huh?
Usually it's the other way around, where they stop calling things in the fourth quarter because they feel like, okay, this is when I'm going to let the kids kind of play. But when it's that way around, that's really frustrating.
I have a real issue with changing the way that you're officiating a game or a match or a setting in the middle or even the late stages of a contest, whether that's what you talked about or what I just described as well. I think that's baloney. I mean, if you're going to call a game, if you're going to do a job, you don't take the foot off the pedal, the last 5 minutes of a game. You don't enforce things that you haven't enforced for 35 game minutes. The last 5, it's ridiculous, absolutely absurd to do that. I mean, that's like saying we have a big strike zone for 6 innings, but in the 7th inning, we're gonna make it.
You're gonna earn these strikes in the 7th inning.
It's ridiculous. It's insane. And you know what? Nobody wins from that. And then here's what happens is the officials get real defensive, right? They get real defensive and they say, instead of, if they've got a chant there was a chant last night and the officials obviously got irritated by it. And it was apparent, right? It was absolutely apparent that, well, you're going to make a chant, take my whistle. Oh, well, I'm going to show you. Come on, man. Like, these are children. These are kids. These are teenagers.
Right.
Right? They're going to chant stuff.
There's things that I hear told the referees, and I'm like, okay, you can get mad about that. A student section chant, for the most part, that aren't necessarily crossing the line. That's
his
one
whistle.
you can't let affect you at all. Like,
you're telling me
you gotta have thick skin.
Take his whistle is going to be the one that breaks this.
That's it.
Back.
I've had it.
That's it. I'm calling everything from now on. I'm like get a grip, like relax. I mean, Jace Varley got smacked square in the mouth. I heard there was, and ironically enough, we had Henry on yesterday, Phillips from JFK. I heard there might be tooth damage, and no foul either way. No foul either way. And okay, I'm good with that if you're going to call it like that the rest of the way through. If you're not going to do that, and you're going to wait till the last 6 minutes or 4 minutes of the game, and then you're going to start calling everything and start teeing people up based on expression. Mm-hmm. Expression, not language, not you did expression. We got to have a chat about that. I mean, it
sounds like the refs just let it get to them and got a little bit of emotional rather than critical in their fourth quarter, which sucks.
And here's the worst part. And I know Gary's behind the backstage. We'll get you, Gary. Hang on. But the part that sucks is you have a scenario where the winner goes on, the loser goes home. And the officiating, a technical foul when a 2-point game ends that game. I don't care what anybody says. It ends that game 100%. The game's over. The kid goes down, hits both free throws, 4-point game. They get the ball back. It's done. It's over. There's 20 seconds left. It's finite, right? I don't live in a world, and this is DJ Yoakley speaking. I don't live in a world that officials, referees, umpires, whoever are bigger than the game.
Mhm.
In that moment, they made themselves bigger than the game. They made themselves
Yeah,
the X factor of that game.
if you're gonna
And
be
that's frustrating.
if you're gonna call a T in that situation, it better be something that was really earned. You know, like
A blatant, like a
someone
chair
better
on the
push
floor,
you or be effing everybody or something like.
like Bobby Knight style. Anything
Right.
Bobby Knight, yes. But Steve Flores kept his composure the entire time, and
Right.
a coach that in his first year at Boardman, after getting the baton from Pat Birch, I think did an excellent job. Kay Reynolds, excellent job. Keith Gunther, we can go on for moons about how great of a coach we think he is. And it's just, it's sometimes you lose, right? That's sometimes you lose.
One last tip of the cap. Can't forget Jefferson. Anthony Cavetta, the best player that has come through Jefferson, all-time leading scorer, hits a buzzer beater 3 to get Jefferson to the district championship. So congratulations to the Falcons. That's an exciting way to end that game and get yourselves to a championship.
Dude, that kid is unbelievable.
kid's
I just
nuts.
keep reading about him. Sam just gushes about this young man.
Mhm.
Hopefully he's free on March 22nd. That's all I'm wondering.
That shot he hit, we'll have a chance to see the highlight when Ty makes it, I'm sure. He put his defender on skates. Like he slid completely on his butt in a step back 3. It was just like, oh man, that man has a family. What are you doing, Anthony?
All that being said, basketball season roaring to a close, but fella, I got to tell you, wrestling season feels like it's just kindling. We're just heating up. And with that, we bring in the legend of Bagger Vance and of Wellsville. Ladies and gentlemen, our guy forever, Gary Altizer. What's up, Gary?
What's up, gentlemen? Thanks for having me on.
Sorry to keep you in backstage. We were it's Delusional Wednesday, in case you didn't know.
Delusional Wednesday. That's a new one.
There's a bunch of delusional folks out there, and I'm a little bit delusional this morning over some of the stuff that I saw and read last night. So
what are we delusional about here?
Oh, just people, man. Just people. People, place, and things, right? That's just nouns. We don't like nouns
People
today.
do that. People do
nouns
that.
are delusional. Speaking of people doing stuff, wrestling's never been harder in our area right now. Talk to me about right off the rip. What are we looking at here for area studs? And I don't even know what's the female version of stud?
I don't think we want to get into that.
I don't know.
Well, like I feel like
saying for breeding, right?
I always feel bad when I say that a girl's a stud because that's way incorrect, right?
Yeah,
There's a gender neutral term used in wrestling called hammer.
All right.
If someone's a hammer.
Who's the hammer right now, Gary? Who's dropping the hammer?
Yes. The YSN network has a bunch of them, and I tell you what, a lot of schools had some really good wrestling going on this weekend. A lot of kids from YSN schools qualified for the district tournament. I think I got some numbers here. I love numbers. I'm a numbers guy. So I'm going to spout off some here for everybody to read. In Division I, Austintown Fitch had 11 of the 14 qualify. Boardman had 4. And Louisville also had 11. Those are the D1 schools. D2 at the Steubenville district, Beaver Local with 9, and East Liverpool with 6. At the Kinston district, a bunch of YSN schools here. Ashtabula Edgewood had 1. Canfield with 10. They had a really great day there. Youngstown Cheney getting somebody in there at 190-pound weight class. We've also got, let's see here, Howland with 8, Hubbard with 4, Jefferson area with 2, Orange with 2, and Salem with 8, Perry with 11. Really good day there for those teams. And in the Division III, it would be the Independence District, which is the one that we'll be competing in. There was a whole lot of teams from the YSN network. Western Reserve had 5. Let's see here. East Palestine got 2 out. Coach Kunselman doing a good job there. Garrettsville Garfield with 5. Girard with 5. Jackson Milton with 4. Let's see. Poland with 6. Pie Valley with 6. Southern Local with 4. South Range with 8. Coach Giordano, those guys doing a great job. Southeast with 6. And we had 3 and 2 alternates.
Wow.
Let's go.
A lot of good wrestling from the network this weekend.
I mean, I'm not a mathematician, Gary, but that sounds an awful lot like I'm going to say 100. We got 100 representatives here on YSN.
I'll trust you. My maths is not good, so I'll trust yours.
That's why you say give or take on anything, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you just go, hey, give or take 100, and you can give or take a lot or a little.
Hopefully, nobody ever does that with their weight.
Not in wrestling, at least. I do it every day.
Right.
Give or take 175, baby. Let's go. And my height, especially. I'm give or take 6 foot.
Skill has a margin for error. It's a fine.
Always does. You show me a program book in the fall that kid's really 6'2", and I'll show you a lot of what do they say? It's lakefront real estate on in Las Vegas.
Yeah, oceanfront real estate in Las Vegas.
There we go. All right, so out of that group, Gary, I mean, there's a lot of dreams and hopes resting on all of those shoulders. Who are some of the folks that you're looking at and you're like, okay, I see a lot of potential. There might be a pathway to success, whether it's given or earned, for this person or these folks.
Well, the prognosticators have Beaver Local predicted to come out on top in their district at the Steubenville district. They've got a couple hammers there. Hammers. And, yes, Jake Hughes and Bobby Buhite. And then they've got Justice Fisher. They've got a couple of other guys there that have some experience that predicted to get to the tournament and maybe place. South Range, Tyson Seaschultz, I believe he's, 3 or 4 different around the state predictions that have been made. He's predicted to be at the top of most of those ones. I mean, that's somebody that I'm definitely keeping an eye on. Louisville having 11, Fitch having 11, Canfield having 10. There are going to be guys that are going to be old names coming through, and there are going to be some new surprises. That's the one thing that I think that Anthony and I have talked about a lot, because we did have a lot of seniors that graduated last year. There's going to be some new guys, new names being made, new guys coming through, and really interesting storylines to watch, I would say. Jonathan Bailey from Southern Local. He's another one. We talked about him last week or week before. He's not a kid that gets a lot of press, but he's definitely in the mix to be on the podium. So those are the names that come to mind. I hope I didn't forget anybody when I was looking down at who the qualifiers were. I apologize if I did, but we got a lot, and I'll be here for the whole postseason to go over those.
Well, I think one of the things we need to do is probably put a piece on our on YSN of the guys and gals that are still in play here, and obviously still going and have a strong chance. And I think there's a way to do that, Gary. With kind of like your intel and your background. That's not slighting anybody, because you talked about it, the prognosticators, whoever the hell that is. It's a situation. Word, yeah, that's a great word. You use pundit a lot, but I'm going to start using prognosticator, because I think I
used it right. I think you just predict things. I think that's what that means. It is
100%. But that's a huge Scrabble word, dude. That's way above what we're allowed to use here on YSN. We're lucky we can spell your sports network, right?
I don't know if we can spell it.
But that's one of those hoity-toity words that you take your glasses and you go like this, like back in the old days. Man, say prognosticator.
I have a monocle.
Yeah, the monocle. But we'll put something up on YSN that has the folks that are doing big things still alive in their season. And I guess this next question would be a nice add to that, if we could. You talked about the prognosticators and, who's supposed to have, heightened sense of awareness when it comes to districts. I mean, we're talking state championships, right? That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody is dictated on their championship run. Who and how many do we have state champion wide? Obviously, it's a tough road to hoe, and there's a lot of guessing game. But from you, our lead prognosticator.
Oh man.
Who are some of the ones that you can see and go, okay, I wouldn't be surprised if they won a state championship?
I mean, Tyson C. Schultz is the first one that comes to mind. I do think in the network, he's got the best chance. And JQ's, freshman from Beaver Local, whether he doesn't wrestle like a freshman, I think that he's got the chance to do that as well. Those are the two names that come right off the top of my head. Bobby Buhite, I think he's a top 3 guy this year, and it's only going to take one or two things to go his way for him to be the top guy. Those are the ones that I can think of right now off the top of my head. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody blatantly obvious, but those are the ones right there. I would say those are the 3 to keep an eye on.
It always feels like Louisville's in the conversation as well. Is there anybody there that you see that you're like, wow, I think they can? I mean, call me crazy, but I feel like every time we or someone else counts out Louisville, they come up just making us look blue and feel blue.
So for me personally, they moved up to Division I this year, and that was a huge change. They went from D2 to D1. So I'm not as up to date on the D1 wrestlers all over the state, other than the big name guys like Marcus Blaze and the guys from St. Ed's. But I know that they've got at least a couple guys predicted to get to the state tournament. It's a big jump to go from Division II to Division I. So, I mean, that just means their school is growing, obviously. But they got 11 guys that have a chance at it. So I can't say, because I don't want to do any injustice for anybody because this is a brand new division for them.
I think Feister's in that same boat where.
So we got the Hoban. Okay, I said not forget anybody blatantly obvious. That's the Feisters from Akron Hoban. Thank you, Anthony, for the save there. Yes, both of those guys, the Feisters at Hoban at 190 and 215, have got a chance. Absolutely. And in fact, I don't know which they're Brayton and Braden, I think, are their name. I'm not sure what their names are. Their names sound similar, and they're only one weight class apart. The older one did not get to wrestle in the postseason last year. I think he was predicted to be a state finalist. So I'm really interested to see how those guys do this coming postseason. So throw those two names 100%. Definitely throw them in there.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is you talked about Western Reserve, and they've got some representatives here this year. That is a program that is not that old, in its infancy. For you to see that happen as a coach, that's got to be just exciting, I guess, is the best word to put it there. Because you're a guy that loves the sport because it's a great sport and it teaches so much about life and lessons about the journeys that you're going to take on. But for Reserve to have so much success in the early going and send, I can't remember how many you said, five or six?
You got 5. I'm just looking right now. They got 5 kids. Yep.
So you look at that and you go, that's incredible. I mean, in the first couple of years of their existence in wrestling, what does that say about the sport? What does that say about the determination of the folks over at Western Reserve, rather, to really build a standout program?
So I have to give a shout out to Sean Gardner. Sean Gardner was the initial original head coach there for Western Reserve, and he did a good job of laying the foundation there. And Sean actually had a state placer in 2021. He had a heavyweight that was in the top 5 in the state. Sean did a great job with that kid. I don't believe he started wrestling until he was a sophomore. So in 3 years, he was able to, really lightning quick get the sport. It came naturally to him, and he was able to get on the podium. You don't see that almost never, a kid that hasn't wrestled until he's in 10th grade to be able to be a state placer. So Sean, he set the tone for the team. He set the foundation for those guys, and he really brought the awareness to that Western Reserve community of the sport. And I think, in fact, now he's not the head coach of the high school. I think he's coaching the elementary kids again. So he's still staying involved, and that's where it starts, and it builds up from there. And then they had Coach Mancini come in this season, and he's done a great job with those kids, and they're performing well. They were at a bunch of tournaments that we were at this year, and they were always their kids were always winning matches. They were always at a respectable showing, and I believe that they shared the team title or second place at the East Palestine tournament this season. So, hats off to them. You're right. The program's not that old, but it's a very healthy program there, and they've got the right guys in place. Coach Mark Coolin, the former head coach of South Range, is also there.
Yeah, Mark
in Western Reserve. So, the former Ohio Coach of the Year, state champion coach. So, and then you got Coach Mancini that was at, I believe, Boardman he's been coaching forever. You've got the right. Yes, you got to. Really, you want to talk about coaching resumes? Those kids there, I think that they are very in very good hands.
Gary, you said you have 3 moving forward, right?
Yes. Yep. We have 3.
Talk about is your team and your perspective, how proud you are that you were able to punch 3 tickets to districts.
Yeah, we're really happy with how our kids wrestled this past weekend. We were at the Beechwood sectional, and for us, it's almost a 2-hour drive. It was an early morning on Saturday, but our kids came through. I did some things different this year, hoping that we could try to peak at the right time. I got a very inexperienced team and a young team, but I think it worked. At least all signs point to it working because my kids were ready. They were there. The same, I had 11 weight classes filled, and it was the same kids that I had at the beginning of the season. They were all there for the week of sectionals. They all showed up to sectionals. We had 7 placers, and we had 5 of them in the top 5 and 3 in the top 4. I'm very happy with where we are as a program. It's not always going to be you have a full team with kids that have wrestled their whole life, especially at a small school. I'm one of the small schools in the state that offer the sport. So I've got realistic expectations. I'm very proud of the kids and the progress that they've made. I've had some great assistant coaches with me this year. And you know what? We finished in 7th place. I think we were predicted to finish last or second to last, and we were only predicted to have 1 kid get out. So we kind of we used that as a motivator that last week. And I think the kids, they took a little chip on their shoulders and they went out and they wrestled well.
Hey, Coach Altizer, congratulations, baby. We're proud of you, baby. Nice job.
Coach, you were telling me earlier that was going to be your first trip to Beechwood in that district.
Yeah.
Grade the facilities at Beechwood. I've heard they're pretty good.
Oh, boy.
Very, very nice. Very nice facilities. They have their own field house there with lots of room for weigh-ins, lots of room for a coach's room, lots of room for the stands. It's a very nice facility. The guys who ran that tournament, they said they've been doing this for like 20 years. Those guys know how to run a tournament. I was home. It was a 2-hour drive each way, and I was home by 5:30.
Wow.
That never happens. So hats off to Mr. Ryan and the guys that ran the tournament in Beechwood. They know what they're doing.
All right. You want to grade things? We'll grade things. Did you have a chance to stop at their concession stand?
Yeah.
Well, thankfully they had a coach's room that provides free food to coaches. So the only thing I stopped there for was a Diet Coke. So I apologize. I have no grade for the concession stand. It looked like they had some good food. They were selling stuff. My kids ate enough to feed a small country. So I think it must have been pretty good.
Probably Canada, I'm guessing. Screw off, Canada. Okay, so they get a C-. They get a C- because there's no official report until further notice. So Beechwood
I'll report back next week. I'll ask my kids how the food was.
Attaboy. There we go. We're gonna start doing concession stand reporting.
Hey, that's a good. Actually, believe it or not, that makes a bigger difference than you think. In the coach's room, probably makes the biggest difference. It's low key, as the kids say, low key. Coach's room makes a difference.
So okay, so the coach's room food, because I'm guessing they bring their own or they have it catered. Beechwood might have it catered. What was in the coach's room other than Diet Cokes?
They didn't have any Diet Cokes.
They didn't have any Diet Coke.
They didn't have Diet Coke.
They had cherry Coke, but I'm watching my figure, my round figure.
So are many others are looking at your figure too.
Oh, they had Trader Joe's donuts. They had a big assortment of bagels for the morning. They had pizza and sandwiches in the afternoon. They had lots of snacks. They did a good job. It's not easy to do a coach's room because you've got so many things to think about when it comes to a tournament, you rely on the people around you in your takedown club, your boosters, and they did a good job. They had people who were in there volunteering, making sure things were filled up, that there were drinks, there were napkins, there were little things like that you don't think about, but it does make a difference. You've been up since 4 a.m. like I was, a 2-hour drive. You walk in, you want a water and you want something to eat while you've got a 15-minute break. People there making sure that stuff's all full makes a big difference. So you have to have those kind of people. And I always make sure I try to thank those people, because they're doing literally a thankless job that almost nobody will shake their hand and pat their back for doing.
Agreed. So I guess that now the question begs, we've gone from wrestling to food, so it must be okay. a little after lunchtime. So we're all getting hungry. What's the one thing that you walk into, and not disrespectfully, respectfully, you walk in and you're like, man, I don't think I could eat another blank. Sloppy Joe, chili, like it's usually a crock pot in my estimation of something full of whatever that you're like, I can't do it again because I've done it for 4 months.
Well, that's a good question.
Pizza's always one for football.
I like pizza though. I can't eat very much because of the red sauce. I unfortunately can't eat very much of it. I would say probably, donuts. I know they're easy to get. They're easy, but there are always donuts in a coach's room. And I don't know. I'll eat donuts if they're there. I don't ever think about donuts though, unless I'm in a coach's room. I guess. Do you have
a favorite? Like if it's sitting there and it's all by itself.
A cream stick. I don't know how you go not.
Where's the best ones? Where are the best cream sticks?
I have no idea, DJ. I don't. I just eat what's provided for free. That's all. I don't. I don't know. Is it Tim Hortons? Are Tim Hortons better than Dunkin'
That's
Donuts?
Canadian, dude. What's wrong with you?
Okay, I'll go with Dunkin'. Dunkin' then. Dunkin'.
Okay, you're back. You dude. I didn't know who you were for that couple seconds. Tim Hortons. Goodness gracious. So from cream sticks, is it maple chocolate? On top?
Yeah, chocolate on top.
Powdered?
Don't say maple.
Yeah.
You're already in trouble.
I tried to trip him
up.
No,
I just need regular cream filling with some chocolate on top. I don't need anything fancy.
Is that a Canadian hat, by the way? Like, have you embraced the entire Canadian?
No, it came from a company where I buy my beard products.
Attaboy.
There you go.
Free advertising here on YSN Live. I appreciate it. Gary, in all seriousness, you've been a knockout all year long, man. For Wrestling Wednesdays, we cannot thank you enough. What has been your favorite part of this season that when you look back, you're going to say, man, I don't know if we can replicate that next season?
You tied on the show here?
No, just anything, any part of it. It can
anything
be a show,
in general this season. I guess I just selfishly say just the fact that my team, the kids, I didn't have anybody quit. From the first match on, nobody quit. The kids were all there. They all showed up. I had great attendance this year for practice. We fought through a couple of injuries, and we peaked at the right time. So I like that this is my 10th year as a high school head coach and my 19th overall, and I'm still learning things and trying new things. And I still got people that want to help me out. That's what I think about most. I have good people around me in our program, whether we're winning tournaments or not. I think I had a kid in the finals for first and second at all but 2 tournaments this year. So we still have kids that are getting the job done. But I'm trying to look at all the other things. My kids are happy. This week on Monday, there were just the 5 kids who were going with us. I got 11 kids on the team, and almost all of them still showed up to come and practice with us just because they wanted to be there. That to me is more important and shows me more than I would if I had, 5 champs and just those 5 guys showed up. The other kids wanting to still be there shows me that they like the sport. They like being around their coaches, and they like the little community that we have.
That's awesome. That is phenomenal. Proud of you, buddy. There's no doubt. I'm very proud of you, what you've been able to do in that community and the wrestling community as a whole. Because here's the thing. We get messages all the time about how grateful people are for this particular day. And for you to hop on Colucci last week, to point and aim a light on this sport that nobody gives appreciation to. I can't tell you how grateful we are to have you in the ranks, not just for wrestling season, but in our daily lives, man. You're a great human being. You've been a great friend this entire time, and you deserve the world. You deserve it, and I'm sure those moments that you were just mentioning, where you've got your entire team that's coming in to support your baby, right? You're the thing that you've been doing for 19 years. I'm sure that if it didn't bring a tear to your eye, it certainly came close. So, dude, we're proud of you, and we thank you for everything you do for wrestling, everything you do here for YSN, and certainly Wellsville's got a great one in you, brother.
Yeah, especially because after that big day, Gary, you were spotted at the basketball game. You didn't go home.
No, I came home and went and supported the boys' basketball team on their sectional championship. It was a very long day, but man, if the Tigers are playing and they're at home, I try to get there no matter what the sport is. I try to get there to support them.
And you do better than anybody, dude. I don't know how you do it, and I owe you a cream stick that is not from Tim Hortons.
I will take that.
And a Diet Coke, because I deliver on the Diet Cokes, unlike Beechwood.
That's my perfect breakfast. I'll take it, sir.
You got it, buddy. I'll get you a whole dozen of them if you want them.
All right.
Spread them around. Gary Altizer, the legend here for Wrestling Wednesday on YSN. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Enjoy your day. We'll see you soon, man. Guys.
See you soon.
All right, there he goes.
Yeah, next week we're going to be able to preview state. It's exciting.
We'll have a group of guys going down for states. Chris Colucci's going to go down with his team. He's got a photographer. He's ready to go.
Gary will be there.
I'm positive Gary Altizer will be in on that, because if he's not, I will be disappointed. Because I want to say last year they kind of collabed on some stuff.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good. So I'm looking forward to it. Having those two guys in Columbus. I just lost my headset. So we're going to go one ear right now. I really think that having those guys in Columbus being able to report on wrestling. There's a lot of people that want to do what we do, Ant. There's a lot of people, but they don't understand the sacrifice it takes. And guys like Gary, who, I mean, you just, at the end of there, you mentioned it. Not only did he do what he was doing for wrestling, but he came back and did what he does so well for YSN. And if you're not appreciative of Gary Altizer and some of these guys here at YSN, all of these guys here at YSN, and what they do, my goodness, go ahead and try to do a day in a life in their shoes, walk a mile in their shoes, as they say. Cause it ain't easy. And Gary's got a full-time job on top of it. So, can we take a quick break so I can fix my, let's do that, because we got to pay some, or hey, how about you do this? Do a reader, Anthony, without any reading material, for Greenwood Chevrolet and Toyota of Warren.
All right, let's do it. Well, the first half of this show brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. Going to put their logo right now in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, it's Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They'll go the extra mile for you. They also have a great service department, so if your vehicle is in need of some care, some handiwork, they'll take care of you too. They have a great team down there at Greenwood Chevrolet, including Kevin Lawson, my buddy that I went to school with at YSU and part of the TCOM department. Make sure to go check them out at Greenwood Chevrolet. And we're about to go into a section of the show that is brought to you by our other good friends, Toyota of Warren up in Trumbull County. Toyota of Warren, if you see the YSN truck anywhere that DJ is at, that truck is
Stop flipping me off.
Stop doing that. There's nothing he can do about it. He can't flip you back. He's in a company car.
2 hands on the steering wheel. I never. Yeah, the Toyota Tundra. That thing's smooth. It rides like a dream. I'll tell you that. and it's got the biggest screen in the middle, because Tino and the boys hooked me up. So even though I'm partially blind, I do believe that my GPS, I'll never get lost. Like it's humongous. I've got TVs that are smaller in my house than the one that I have on my dashboard in my Toyota of Warren YSN Toyota Tundra.
The YSN mobile.
I am getting pissed off, Anthony, because I don't know. These must be from Canada because I cannot get these to go back together.
Just like South Park, blame Canada on everything. I love it.
It's either Canada or China. And my wife and her family would get upset if I blame China. I think I got it, though. Bingo. We're back in business.
Never
Just in
doubted you
time.
for a second.
Just in time for this segment, which you alluded to, brought to you by Toyota of Warren. Ladies and gentlemen, most Wednesdays, I don't want to say every Wednesday because it's not that true. And we're here. We're uncovering the truth for you here on YSN, showing you real journalism and journalistic integrity, unlike other networks around the area and YouTube channels.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in a gentleman who is the gem, quite frankly, of the American spirit. He is a gentleman of all gentlemen. He is a guy who has the funky Cole Medina. Ladies and gentlemen, Scotty Mitchell. Scotty!
Thank you. I'm wondering if somebody I know is giving you all these beautiful intros, DJ. I'm wondering if someone I know is putting pressure on you. It's flattering, man. Thank
Well, quite frankly, Scotty, I'm being paid to say it, so take that for what it's worth.
I'll still take it.
It's scripted.
I'll still take it.
Scotty, how's your week been going, brother?
It's good. It's very good. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. We got final record night tonight down at the Royal Oaks, and I just found out yesterday that on St. Patrick's Day we will be performing at the I believe it is the Palermo Center, so the band will be performing there. So
Vinyl night at the
excited
Royal
about
Oaks.
that.
Tell me about Vinyl night at the Royal Oaks. What the atmosphere? What's it? Because I just got this vision in my head that you guys are playing records, and I just see Scotty. Yeah, man, the blues, man.
I've been known to get pretty, boogie and get a little rowdy at the vinyl nights. But there are nights where I try to play it cool, and I am more about the blues. But usually I like to get down, and there's nights I'll even sing there. Plus, Jimmy gives away if you get the music trivia right, he does music trivia, and if you get it right, you get free socks. So
Free socks?
yeah.
What a prize.
But they're like all kind of different. It's like any socks you could imagine, like Marvel, like Coca-Cola, like.
Okay, so decorated socks. No,
Yeah,
I thought he's just giving away like
Here's
plain
some-
white socks.
No,
Like, come on, Jimmy.
Dig deep, Jimmy.
Come on, pal. Like nobody's giving away Hanes socks as a present.
Here you go.
You're like my grandma. Like, dude, what are you doing, pal?
Scotty's over there like Dobby
they're
from Harry Potter.
decorated, and they're cool because just that used to be. I don't know about you guys, but when I was little and someone would give me a new shirt and socks, it was like I'm like, where's the Batman toy? Come on, like this is so
Like when your parents give you socks and underwear for Christmas, and like Santa gives you all the good toys and they give you the crappy ones. Yeah. I get it. And then we find out later a lot of things in life. Let's go to, in case there's kids watching. We don't want to break any. There's a Bella Yoakley watching somewhere, listening somewhere. Scotty, as far as vinyl goes for tonight, what are you listening to? What are you hoping for?
Well,
Oh boy.
Oh, he's ready.
I have, you
I have a
know,
list of 10, DJ.
no, I won't go on and on. I'll keep it short and sweet. I've been on I kind of been on a kick lately where I've been listening to the British band Oasis. So maybe a good Oasis song.
Oasis. What's a hit from Oasis?
Uh don't look back in anger or Wonderwall.
Wonderwall. There it is. There it is.
Champagne Supernova.
Okay. They're a British band?
I think so, yeah. I don't they
From the good old UK.
I think they're back together. I'm not 100% sure, but
I'm not going to lie to you, Scotty. I'm going to tell you the same thing about the WNBA that I also just learned about Oasis, that they broke up. that the Cleveland Rockers haven't been around since 2003. Didn't know that. I thought they were still chugging along down at the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. So the fact that the band Oasis from my childhood is getting back together, them and Creed, man, welcome home, baby. Welcome home.
With arms wide open.
With arms wide open.
can you take me higher?
Yes, that's a good one.
Man, if it didn't give us a copyright strike, I would rock that right now.
We can do 28 seconds and we'll be fine.
Yeah, what's that called? Like, there's a term for that in the legal world.
Fair use.
Fair use. Great job, Anthony.
Fair use. Okay.
Our luck, it would be the first 28 seconds of that song that they don't say anything.
It's just a solo. It's the end of Hotel California where it's just like a 2-minute long guitar solo.
Yeah, it's the end of so fair use too. What I'm learning is if it's older than what 50 or 60 years old.
Yes, because copyrights expire.
So like
It has to.
Johnny Be Good, we could probably get on as our.
That's why like Mickey, the domain of Mickey isn't owned, like Disney doesn't control it anymore. That's why you saw like someone make a horror movie about Mickey's Playhouse or whatever it's called. Because
that's for real.
Now it's free domain. Yeah, it's called like the Mousetrap or something like that. It's like
Mickey is free domain.
Yeah, yeah.
The mouse is free domain.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why they keep changing Mickey?
And that's why you saw like a Winnie the Pooh horror movie a couple of years ago too, because he became free domain.
I hope we're not getting copyright strike for just saying these people's names.
Disney's out there.
Disney's like, we're laying the smackdown. They want to rip on Canada. We're taking them down right now.
You didn't spend enough money at Disney World to get us out of the.
Oh, trust me. I did. Trust me, we did.
I mean,
$40 bubble makers times 2.
You didn't buy the ponchos.
I was thanking my lucky stars we survived last week.
We're not canceled yet. Don't test it.
Oh yeah, thanks, Scotty. Thanks for that. I felt like I was going on a political apology tour. They're like, "What was Scotty gonna say?" I was like, "You'll never know. You'll never know.
You'll never know."
And then Scotty, after, I wasn't gonna say anything. Oh yeah, you were. You were rolling, buddy. The arrows were out, and you were fully cocked and ready to let it fly.
I was coming from the top rope.
No, you were shooting from the hip, dude. You were Wild Wild Westing it here on YSN Live. I'm getting text messages all over again. Scotty should be an everyday feature. No. No.
You guys, you remember the Wild Wild West when Burger King had the glasses for
for the movie?
Yeah. I thought those glasses were the coolest back in the day.
They're still around there somewhere, aren't they?
They gotta be around here somewhere, yeah.
Wiggity Wild Wild West. Will Smith was an American treasure for a little bit, and then it went south.
Then it went south real quick.
Yeah.
Scotty,
Yes,
that's what can
sir.
happen, buddy. You can be at a treasure 1 second and then
You
just
slap someone
trash
on
the
stage
next.
real quick, and you're done.
You wear those stupid glasses, and all of a sudden you are drunk trash. Like you're out.
Yeah, you gotta you gotta be aware of that nowadays. Gotta-
Yes. Do you say that to yourself in the mirror the last week? We have to be aware of this. We have to be
Yeah.
aware of this.
I've been saying that the last week. I'm like, I gotta be more careful with before I speak. Think before I speak.
Scotty, there's part of me that's actually very surprised you're with us today because I was fully expecting that you would have been raided by a group of people and put somewhere. Maybe the
Scotty's
yeah, I
in a
don't know.
black site.
You're like, you see people come in and just like
Outside of jurisdiction.
hit me, and they like hit me with a. You're like, damn, Scotty's going down. It's just like what happened to Diddy.
No. Go back to that mirror, Scotty. Go back to that mirror.
Insane.
I didn't.
Go back to
You
the
know,
mirror.
I just meant the raid. I didn't mean.
I just feel like we're missing the point here, Scotty. I feel like you're just dodging it like Neo from the Matrix. The point's just all over, and you're like, all right, let's
get back on track. Ooh,
There was no track. There
it was
no track.
it was never a track. It was gone.
Scotty, do you have any interesting, maybe like this week in sports or anything off the top of your head that you can throw out and save this show?
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna save it because again,
Thank God.
I gotta look in the mirror. Like I don't want to have that big a ego, but this is my attempt at getting us back on track. I'm gonna attempt. I just wanted to know from you guys. I saw my Camel Red Devils. As Anthony knows, we talked about it a lot on the show. From Camel, even though I went to high school in Lowville, but I still, have so much love, and I try to always, give support to both. And they're coming off a big win last night against a higher seed in boys basketball. And I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts on Camel, your thoughts on what they've been able to do this season, and what do you think about this matchup coming up here soon, and the next one they have? And do you think they could be a team, because they've been good for a while, but can they kind of take that next step, or do you need to see more?
Yeah, I think from my perspective, and the team that they played last night, Columbiana, which, you hear about what happened in Columbiana with Sester Herrick and breaking his leg or whatever that ended up being, a leg injury. I know that. Just devastating, because if you're a fan of the show, if you watch this show, you know that I was amped up to see that game last night. And when you're down a gunner, it's going to be tough to beat a team like Memorial. It's going to be a really challenging test to play and compete with a team like Camel. And that was Camel. Just the lights were bright last night for them, and they did a great job. Columbiana valiantly fought as hard as they possibly could. The Camel is going to be a lot for a lot of teams, and I think under the radar, they fly a lot more on that under the radar, if that makes sense, than anybody else. And I don't know why. I don't understand it, because if you watch them on tape, buddy, they are electric. electric. I mean, they can hit long range, they can hit mid range, they can put it down. Mama, they do the dishes and they do everything. So it's one of those scenarios that, like, was I surprised at the outcome? I wasn't, given the fact that, Columbiana was fighting with one hand behind their back a little bit. And that's not to take anything away from Columbiana. Again, valiant effort. But when you're arguably your best player is out, it's going to be an uphill battle. And I think any coach will tell you that, and you can cut that up and use it for motivation or sound bites or however you want. But I think everybody knew going into it was going to be an uphill battle, and that's what it was. And I think anybody that plays Camel is going to be in for a fight. And it doesn't matter what your defense looks like or your offense looks like. You're either going to have to go in and try to lock them down, which is going to be nearly impossible because they have more than one guy, more than two guys, more than three guys that can beat you on any given night. Or you're going to have to try and keep pace with them offensively, which is also going to be a struggle. You just got to hope that they don't miss. And I know that's not a defensive strategy, but against Camel, it kind of has to be. You're like, man, we let them shoot and hope they don't make it. Maybe that's the best defense you can do against the Red Devils this year.
Yeah, and this district championship on Saturday against Salem might be the best one of the weekend with LeBray versus Camel. They both have superstars. Sway Rodriguez can score from anywhere, but Derek Wilson from LeBray can also just score from wherever he wants to. You got Austin Rowe, a sharpshooter. You got Cologne, a sharpshooter for Camel as well. It's a really evenly matched game. They played each other as conference opponents all the way up until this year when they switched tiers to the MVAC. So they're very familiar with each other. Coach Kaiser and Coach Canarino know each other so well. There's not going to be any secrets between each other. It's going to be a really good basketball game in Salem on Saturday. It's all local, and it's also local. So if you don't have anything to do on Saturday night, you should get down to the Quaker Dome and see some really good basketball.
Grand Valley? Going to be down
Grand
there?
Valley will be there right before him at 4:00 too.
Yeah. So there's a word on the street that there's a sponsor ready for that one. So if we can get an announcer down to that one on Saturday, you're going to have some more free basketball thanks to a beloved sponsor here on YSN. But to Scotty, hopefully that answered your question from a standpoint of, do we think Camel stack up? I do. I think they will.
Absolutely.
I think their brand of basketball, offensively, defensively, and just from a unity standpoint, it stacks up with anybody. I think it does. And this is a high heater on the inside. This is some chin music. I think it stacks up against anybody in any division.
Wow.
I'll throw that out there. Because listen, that's the only way, right? So, you're playing a bunch of Division I guys. That's great, but how do you stop Camel? They're just athletic, dude, and they ball. They can ball. That's the easiest way to say it. They can ball, and I do believe they can beat anybody on any given night.
I think a lot of teams are calling Coach Sharp from Jackson Milton, going, "What did you guys do? What happened that night? What were you able to do?" Because Jackson Milton was the one team this year that kind of snuck up on Camel and got a win over him in the conference. So everyone's calling Jackson Milton. Yeah.
And Jackson Milton's a team that keep up with them, right? They got a star player and they've got supplemental players, but you're not gonna stop them. You can slow them down. You will never stop them from filling it up. And I think that's really, when you look at, maybe not that game in particular, that's your only chance, is that they miss. And guess what? Some nights teams are off. That's your only shot against Camel. I'm sorry, that is it. You're not going to lock down 5 of their players. You're not going to do it. It's just impossible.
Especially Sway.
Kid. And Cologne, I mean, the game that we had on here, which was one of the 4 or 5 games that I've got to see of Camel this year. I mean, if you're just looking at that game, like, he should send that game to every single college recruiter in America and say, "Hey, I'm looking to go to school somewhere. You got a spot for me?" Because if you got a kid like that who can not just put up, what did he have, 11 threes or something? Something ridiculous. And he had so many more dishes, to Sway Rodriguez. So I don't know, man. I don't know who stops Memorial. Best of luck.
And they have 4 losses this year. Mooney stopped them. Mooney held them to 35 points somehow.
Defense, because they're all defense.
And then Poland also. Poland. These are both upper division teams. JFK beat them, and Jackson Milton beat them. So those are their 4 losses. They have not lost since that 1 point Jackson Milton loss back in the end of January. So they are
Mooney
on a
was
tear.
an early.
Mooney was really early. Poland was kind of before conference play, and then JFK was kind of the middle of the season. But JFK, that's a powerhouse too.
The only, the
by the
only
way,
one that
Poland's still playing, JFK still playing. Mooney got knocked out, but 3 of those teams still playing.
Mooney's the only one that doesn't have a typical like one scorer, because Kerry Palermo's defense is always good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's how you lock it down. But are you going to be able to beat them in a 37-35 game?
Yeah.
You know, like that's the other thing, because their defense is pretty doggone good too.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, I think that Mooney game was kind of like one of those anomalies, because Mooney also had a really good offensive night that night. They scored 70. Were able to just kind of, derail Campbell that night. But that's the only game this year that they've been kind of really lopsided in their losses. So it was just one of those nights. It's going to happen. It's a long basketball season. It goes from November to January to February. You're going to have probably one night in that span where you're not at your best. And that was the Mooney game for Campbell.
To March,
very early.
It's March 1st on Saturday.
Yeah, March.
Speaking of derailed, Anthony, we want to thank Scotty Mincher for his contributions to today's broadcast. As we wrap things up here, it is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical. Visit them today on the web. I'm trying not to laugh. Visit them today on the web at DickeyElectric.com. You can visit them on the web 24/7, 365. Scotty, keep it absolutely clean. Do not put us in the witness protection program this next week. Here's the graphic. All right, let's all collectively hold our breath.
Me being even in this show today, I learned I gotta work on, thinking before what comes out of my mouth. So all that taken into consideration, I just wanted to say that lately I've been feeling great. It's the best I've ever felt, and I've really been working hard trying to kick it up a notch with therapy lately. And I just wanted to say, you'll still have those moments in life and times where you're down. That's just how life is. But I just wanted to say, if you really want to do something, you want to accomplish something, and you really want to be successful and be happy, that you can do it. Things can change and turn around for you. So there was times, very dark for me, that I thought, am I ever going to get through this bad time? But I've been able to. And I guess in a nutshell, again, if it wasn't for the great support system that I have, I don't know if I could. So I wanted to thank you guys for letting me do what I'm able to do every week, and just all my other great friends and family that have stuck with me, because I really have needed their support, and I can't reiterate that enough. So that is my spark.
Oh my God. I think they took Scotty.
It's over.
They finally got him.
Scotty,
they got him. Scotty! Bark twice if you're in Milwaukee, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. Scotty's right here. No socks for you, buddy.
No
socks.
No socks. Okay.
That was brought to you by
that's-
Joe Dickey Electric and Oasis, the band, who just reformed. We found out today.
Who does
I was gonna sing for you a little, but I thought after that last comment, I'll be like, that's taken.
Go ahead. Hey, do it for the people. You owe it to them.
Okay. So Sally can wait. She knows it's too late as she's walking on by. My soul slides away, but don't look back in anger. I heard you say, at least not today.
Keep going, man. You're on a roll.
Let's go, man.
Thank
I'm gonna start calling
guys.
you Noasis. Oh boy, off the rails, pal. We are way off the rails.
Off the rails.
Anthony, what is your spark?
I'll give a spark. YSU baseball playing up here for the first time this year and being able to get baseball in Northeast Ohio. That's something. 1-0. They're up right now, bottom of the first in Akron, wearing their all reds. They look slick in the all reds. So let's go YSU, get this win up here in Northeast Ohio over the Zips.
Oh, the old catch-up uniforms.
Yeah.
Not a fan. I'm not a fan. I don't like the all reds. I don't know. That's mine.
I actually can't convert. I know they're wearing the red jerseys. I don't know if it's all reds, but they're wearing the red
Oh,
tops.
and see red. I doubt they're wearing the red with white.
Yeah,
I like
red
the-
tops with the penguin on the chest.
They used to do the red and the black, which was kind of neat.
Ooh.
They haven't, and I understand it's not going to happen. The all black uniforms, those would have been dope. There's a story behind that in YSU, behind black uniforms in the Youngstown State University Penguins
I know.
across all their sports.
A couple of years ago, softball had the icy whites that I kind of enjoyed. All
Bowling
white.
Green. Bowling Green, by the way, our buddy Logan Bell, they debuted new uniforms this year. Icy whites. They've got all orange, which I know. I just said I don't like the all reds. The all orange ones, a little different.
You know, every time I think Bowling Green, I think of our dynasty in NCAA 2014 that we
It's
had.
still there, buddy.
Q.
It's still there.
Steve Leslie, HC.
National championship head coach. You put some respect on that name. All right. It is time for my spark. And my spark is super that it's 55 degrees outside. And I know we're going to get some showers here, but get outside, enjoy the day. And we've got 3 games tonight on YSN. You can enjoy thanks to the sponsors. We're grateful for them naturally. And certainly all season, all postseason long, we're extremely just flattered that these folks want more basketball because it just tells you how great the product is out there for our basketball programs, and certainly we wish all of them the best moving forward. And for those ones that have called it a year, thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts here. Thank you. We appreciate what you did this year, coaches. We appreciate your commitment to the game of basketball, to the young ones. And then for the players, the communities, thank you for showing out, man. What a year it's been. For hoops, it's still not over yet. We're hoping to get a state champion when it's all said and done. And we got more games tonight on the network. Head on over to ysnlive.com/live for all of those, all 3 of those games that we have tonight. And then, hey, go watch or go listen to some baseball. Tim Corso, Keith Corso on the call right now, live from Akron for Anthony and Scotty and Tim Horton. And special thanks to Gary Altizer. My name is DJ Yoakley. That's it for YSN Live for this Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow right here, noon on the network. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.